Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10. Giant Red-Headed Centipede. The Texas giant red-headed centipede is ridiculously long for a bug, longer than most people's feet, and beyond creepy. This centipede is known for its red body and dozens of pointy limbs that are a creepy shade of greenish yellow. The smallest of these centipedes average roughly 6.5 inches long, but many of them can grow at least a foot in length. Also called the giant desert centipede, they are venomous, and the bite can feel like a painful sting. Sometimes a bite can cause necrosis, dizziness, nausea, and headaches. Imagine the shock at 7:30 in the morning on a hot day in July of 2022 when Jesse Pye woke up and found one of these things in his bed with him. Jesse, a 35-year-old resident of San Antonio, Texas, rolled over and saw one of the meanest, ugliest, and most venomous creatures in the state of Texas. According to what Jesse said on social media, he first thought it was either a snake or a giant worm. Then he realized it had dozens of legs and knew he was in serious trouble. Jesse moved slowly away from the massive centipede in his bed, put his glasses on, and grabbed his phone to start recording. He had never seen a centipede that big. He didn't know if it was venomous, but he knew he had to get it on camera. People online told him to burn the house down. Instead, he wrapped it up in the blanket and took it outside. The centipede had probably come inside and into the cool bed to escape the heat. Although their venom isn't lethal, if Jesse had rolled over it or scared it, he would have gotten quite the jolt. The bigger the centipede, the worse the agony, since they have large fang-like legs that can pierce the skin and inject a toxin. And while most people don't die from being bitten by these creatures, their venom can, in rare cases, lead to kidney failure and even give someone a heart attack. Number 9. Portuguese Man of War. During the brutal 2022 heat wave in the United Kingdom, some of the most venomous sea creatures in the world started washing up on the beach. The temperature rose to over 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and swimmers flocked to the beaches to cool off. Much to their surprise, they were faced with deadly sea creatures that had gotten trapped on the beach. There were dozens of Portuguese man of wars all over the place. Just one brush with this creature could cost somebody their life. Although the Portuguese man of war is frequently mistaken for a jellyfish, it's actually a marine hydrozoan. Specifically, it's a siphonophore, a colonial organism that lives at the surface of the ocean that is related to the jellyfish. The reason it's so dangerous is that it has nematocysts all over its body that deliver horrendous stings to anything it touches. Nematocysts are microscopic barbed tubes that help inject venom with precision. Portuguese man of war can be recognized by their transparent balloon-like float and can grow long tentacles and polyps reaching up to 100 feet. The problem is that they can easily be confused with a plastic bag. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it can't hurt you. The venom from the sting of this animal is so deadly it can paralyze and kill small fish and crustaceans immediately. If you touch one of them, it will be excruciatingly painful. The venom will cause angry welts and in some cases can even cause a heart attack or mild paralysis. If this happens while you're swimming, you could drown. So far, nobody in the UK has died from the man of wars on the beach, but NOAA warns you beware because they can still sting weeks after having washed ashore. Number 8. Spotted eagle ray. A family was out on their boat in Alabama doing some deep-sea fishing when they were almost killed by a spotted eagle ray that jumped onto their vessel. It happened in July of 2022 when April Jones and her family were out fishing near Dauphin Island. Everything was going fine, and then from out of nowhere, the gigantic ray hefted itself out of the water and landed in their boat. As it flew through the air, it hit April so hard on the right side of her body that she sprained her shoulder. She fell over, everyone in the boat was screaming, and the enormous ray was flopping around on the floor. Thankfully, nobody suffered a serious injury other than April's shoulder, but it was a close call. The family estimated the eagle ray was at least 400 pounds and about 10 feet wide. It also came complete with a venomous barbed stinger at the base of its tail. The venom is so potent it can kill a person, and its tail can reach over 16 feet long. It acts like a whip, and can sting people even after it's been pulled out of the water. Number 7. The Gila Monster. In 2022, a man from Tucson posted a video online showing him removing a gigantic orange lizard from his garage. This was no ordinary lizard, but one of the most dangerous monsters in all of Arizona. It's the Gila Monster, and the Tucson resident had to move it out of his garage using a trash can, like how you trap a spider on the kitchen counter with a drinking glass. According to the Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary, the Gila Monster is one of only 2 venomous lizards in North America. The other one is the Mexican beaded lizard, which makes Gila the only venomous lizard native to the United States. It has one of the most painful bites in the world. If the man had gotten bit in the garage, it definitely would have ruined his life for a few days. Gila monsters have teeth with small grooves that help the venom flow right into the bloodstream. They hold on for dear life and might even chew a bit so the venom goes in deeper. It's hard to make them let go. The bite wouldn't cause necrosis like with a rattlesnake bite, but there would be major tissue damage and the victim would be in pain for days. While it may hurt like heck, luckily its venom has never actually killed anyone. At least there are no recorded deaths, and there isn't even any anti-venom available because it's such a rare thing for someone to get bitten. Gila monsters also live underground for about 90% of their life, so they very rarely encounter people. The problem is that some people have them as pets and then let them out into the wild. Number 6. Impaled by catfish. Another extremely dangerous fish with a surprising level of toxicity is the catfish. In summer of 2022, a child was impaled in the chest by a catfish. I didn't even know that could happen. He was on a family camping trip on a boat out in the Gulf Coast near Tampa. According to the local authorities, the child took the catfish barbs straight to the chest, and the family immediately called for help. What followed was a harrowing journey back to shore, into the car, and speeding down the highway to the nearest hospital. But before they got to the hospital, the child's mother pulled over on the side of the road and called 911 because her kid looked like he was about to stop breathing. The child ended up being rescued by a helicopter and taken to St. John's Hospital in Tampa. Doctors were worried because they didn't know what kind of catfish had stabbed him, and at least 1,200 different species are venomous. Researchers from the University of Michigan have shown how the poison glands on the fins of the catfish are extremely toxic. The venom can destroy nerves, break apart red blood cells, and cause respiratory distress. This is why the child was having such a difficult time breathing. Even beyond the initial venom, the actual location of the wound can become infected, and that infection can carry straight into the blood. Unfortunately, there have been no reports regarding the condition of the child, but seeing as he was never declared dead, we can hopefully assume he made it out okay. Number 5. Venomous snakes of North Wales. In spring of 2022, dog walkers in North Wales were warned to be on the lookout for adders. The warning came after a small Springer Spaniel had to undergo surgery following a nearly deadly encounter. According to what the owner of the dog said, their dog Willow was bitten as they walked along a peaceful path as usual. The snake lashed out so quickly there was nothing anyone could do to stop it, and they had to make an emergency trip to the vet to get immediate treatment. If they had waited, Willow wouldn't have made it. The adder is the only native venomous snake found in the United Kingdom. Also known as the common European viper, it only bites if disturbed, which is why it typically attacks dogs. The dogs sniff the adder, not realizing it's venomous, and then get a bite on the nose. Human deaths are incredibly rare, but the venom is enough that someone with underlying health issues might die if not given immediate medical attention. Number 4. The lionfish. Fabiano Ramazio from South Carolina frequently encounters some of the deadliest fish in the ocean while diving off the coast of Somerville. He typically goes down to around 100 feet deep, where lionfish can be found lurking all over the reefs on the ocean floor. The lionfish is slow. It takes its time as it wanders about, and it's easy to differentiate from the other fish. There is no mistaking the lionfish for anything else. It has stripes like a zebra, large fins that make it look like it has a lion's mane, and of course, venomous spikes sticking out of its head. The lionfish is so prevalent in South Carolina that on a single dive, Fabiano once saw over 100 of them in the same place. But the lionfish does not belong in American waters. These huge and venomous monsters, which can grow nearly 2 feet long, were only introduced to the Atlantic a few decades ago. According to Margaret Finch from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, they probably entered the waters through the aquarium trade, began to breed, and spread like crazy. That's why each year there is a lionfish hunt. Divers go down in huge numbers with spears and try to remove as many of the fish as possible. But they have to be very careful, as some of these spines on the fish's back are highly venomous. The venom contains a neuromuscular toxin, like what's found in cobra venom. Number 3. Red-bellied black snake. In summer of 2022, or rather winter of 2022, since this happened in Australia in July, Alan Bates opened the engine of his Mercedes and discovered an extraordinarily venomous snake staring back at him. It was a red-bellied black snake, highly dangerous, and not something you want to catch by surprise. According to Haley Hill, the operator of a local reptile relocation service, the snake had probably moved into the car because of the unusually cold weather. It curled up to the engine block where it was warm, wrapped itself amongst all the hoses and lines. It was the perfect place for a snake to hang out. Haley Hill, who helped Alan Bates to get the snake out of his car, had once been bitten by a red-bellied black snake. And although she was given anti-venom and survived the ordeal, she was never the same. She got extremely sick and still suffers from nerve damage, and the venom even caused her to lose most of her smell for the rest of her life. Number 2. Stonefish. 21-year-old Juliano Bade stuck his finger in what's believed to be the most venomous fish in the ocean, recorded himself doing it, and then posted the video online. Juliano discovered the fish washed up on a beach in Australia. He was walking along the beach at low tide near Brisbane when he found the creature, and he got down in the muck and started playing with it. In the video, he asked his online followers if anyone could identify the fish. By the time people identified the fish for him, Juliano was already long gone. He poked at its mouth and even stepped on its head. He narrowly escaped death and didn't even know it. It was a stonefish, something that has spines on its back that it uses to inject its victims with a deadly venom. Its spines are so sharp that they can stab you pretty bad, pushing the venom way down into the tissue. This, of course, is excruciating, and the pain can last for several days. The venom can cause a heart attack or make you stop breathing. Many people have actually died from a stonefish sting, and they are hard to see, making them extremely dangerous. If you are ever stung, you need to get to the hospital immediately and get an anti-venom. Depending on how much venom is injected, you can suffer from numbness, tingling, and pain for several weeks, and chronic pain for a very long time. Number 1. The cobra in the classroom. In a small village in India called Natungram, in summer 2022, a group of school children had an ugly encounter with a very mean and very dangerous cobra. The cobra, a fully grown adult, snuck into the kids' classroom at a primary school and sparked pandemonium. It got in through a pipe connected to the drainage system and threatened to slither right into the group of kids. It was all the more precarious since the kids had just gathered together and were all in one spot. It was the headmaster who happened to be in the room and saw the creature and had the kids run for safety. The headmaster then had to get a hold of the forest rangers so that they could come remove the menacing serpent before it bit someone. We don't know exactly what kind of cobra this was, but it was definitely deadly. Cobras have potent neurotoxic venom that attacks the nervous system. That means a person with cobra venom in their blood will lose their vision, have difficulty speaking, experience sudden weakness and difficulty breathing, and then start vomiting while their body rapidly shuts down. Children are especially at risk. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been bitten by a snake or stung by a jellyfish? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye!